Indigenous people from different regions around the world explained with cultural facts. Who are indigenous people? Indigenous means originating in a particular region or a country. Indigenous or Aboriginal peoples are so called because they were living on their lands before the settlers came from elsewhere. Most indigenous peoples around the world have retained social, cultural, economic and political characteristics that are clearly distinct from those of the other segments of the national populations. Let's take a look at different indigenous peoples from different regions on Earth. The first and the most famous indigenous people that you all must be knowing about are the American Indians of the US. 2% of the US population identifies as American Indians. Even though more than 500 years have passed, the native people of Americas are still often referred to as Indians. Many Native American tribes consider the eagles to be sacred. Their headgears, made with feathers called war bonnets, are distinctive about them. In their culture, Mohawk means man-eaters. Totem poles often depict animals that are special to the family. The Maasai in East Africa. These are nomadic ethnic group inhabiting Kenya and northern Tanzania. They are easily recognizable for their brilliant red blankets and colorful beaded jewelry. A weird fact about the Maasai: blood is the part of Maasai diet. They drink blood on various occasions, like when they are sick. With their long limbs, they belong to the tallest people of Africa. They seem taller because of their world-famous high jumps. Beauty or the Pygmies of Zaire. They are semi-nomadic people who live in the Ituri forest of northeast Zaire. Music and dance form an integral part of their lives. They have a traditional way of life centered on hunting and gathering of wild food resources. They are the shortest group of pygmies in Africa, averaging under 4 feet 6 inches in height, and are perhaps the most famous. Berbers of Morocco. It is estimated that there are between 30 and 40 million Berber-speaking people in Africa. Berbers are ethnic group indigenous to North Africa, specifically Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, and Libya. They are often portrayed as nomadic people crossing the desert on camels, but most of them are farmers. The vast majority of Berbers are Muslim. They survived by raising herds of grazing animals and driving them from place to place. Women handled chores like weaving their distinctive blue robes. Ainu people of Japan. The Ainu are an indigenous people who primarily inhabit the island of Hokkaido in Japan. Their traditional dress was a robe spun from the inner bark of the elm tree called atushi or atush. The men had full beards and mustaches. The women tattooed their mouths. They speak a unique language which is not related to Japanese. Traditionally, they were hunters and food gatherers who shifted to agriculture. The Mayans of Guatemala. They are the members of one of the oldest civilizations of the world. The Maya are indigenous people of Mexico, Guatemala, and northern Belize. Before the Spanish conquest of Mexico and Central America, the Maya possessed one of the greatest civilizations of the Western Hemisphere. They practiced agriculture, built great stone buildings and pyramid temples, worked with gold and copper, and used a form of hieroglyphic writing that is now largely being deciphered. The ancient Mayans developed the science of astronomy, calendar systems, and hieroglyphic writing. The Mayans are skilled weavers and potters. They had many different gods and believed their kings had a divine descendants. They are also skilled farmers. The Kurds of Iraq, Iran, Syria, and Turkey. The Kurds are the largest ethnic group in the world without a state, primarily split between Iraq, Iran, Syria, and Turkey. Most Kurds are Sunni Muslims. The majority of Kurds speak the language Kurmanji. They have a rich folkloric tradition. Kurds celebrate the New Year on Nowruz. Zembal Ferosh is a popular folk tale of the Kurds. The Miao and Hmong of southern China, Laos, and Thailand. Miao are indigenous people of southwestern China. Hmong are the Miao ethnic groups who have migrated from China into Southeast Asia. Embroidered costumes and elaborate silver jewelry feature prominently in Hmong ethnic dances. It was once illegal to write in Hmong. During the wedding feast, no pepper dish can be served for it will make the bride and groom's life bitter. Assyrians of the Middle East. They are the indigenous people of the Middle East. Their ancient kingdom was once a part of Mesopotamian Empire located in Iraq today. They are not to be confused with Syria, which is a state in Middle East. Today, the Assyrian homeland is still in northern Iraq. However, the destruction brought about by the terrorist group ISIS has resulted in many Assyrians being killed or forced to flee. The Assyrians were perhaps most famous for their fearsome army and military victories. They are predominantly Christians. Maori of New Zealand. They are the indigenous people of New Zealand. Maori is also the name of Eastern Polynesian language which they speak. The Maori culture is rich with songs, art, dance, and deep spiritual beliefs. Tamoko is the traditional Maori art of tattooing the skin. Their traditional clothing is made by weaving or raranga, which comprises of bamboo skirts. The famous Disney movie Moana depicts the Maori culture and the Polynesian village life. The Sami of Sweden, Norway, Finland, and Denmark. The Sami are the descendants of nomadic peoples who had inhabited northern Scandinavia for thousands of years. Reindeer herding was the basis of the Sami economy and is still today. Yoik is a feature of Sami musical tradition. The Sami handicrafts, duoji, use natural materials and often have soft rounded shapes and is quite a famous pattern around the world. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe and stay tuned for more such videos. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.